Good afternoon, welcome. Thank you for being here. Today we have a lot of interesting and exciting news to tell you. But first of all, I wanted to tell you a little bit about where we came from, because this year is actually the 20th anniversary of Arduino. It's a big, yeah. And so I wanted to tell everyone where we came from to understand exactly also where we are aiming in the future. So this is the Interaction Design Institute Ivrea. It was the first master's program in interaction design in Italy, and it was housed in this building in the town of Ivrea, which used to be the research and development for a company called Olivetti, which has been massively influential in industry, technology, design. And so that's when I was teaching there, my objective was to tell students that were very, very smart, teach them how to build with electronics without having a lot of experience or zero experience in electronics and software. So the objective there was really to figure out ways where people with a lot of ideas and no experience can use electronics as a creative medium. And after that, this is the people that I met in time over there. So David Quartiers, who is in the audience somewhere. Quartiers, where are you? So David is a professor at the University of Malmö in Sweden, and but he also organized these amazing karaokes in the school, so we could, that's how we started to talk about how to innovate the world of electronics, starting from the karaoke. And then Tomaigo is a professor at NYU, and David was one of our students, who also had an academic career at the MIT. So the four of us, we discussed a lot about how do we create tools that simplify technology and put it in the hands of everyone. And so there was a lot of inspiration for the work that we did. So I've selected these three. The one in the middle is a diagram by one of my mentors, Bill Verplank, who was a professor at Stanford. And he drew this diagram of what interaction design is. And you notice there is a human being in the middle. This idea that whenever you design with technology, the person is in the middle is really the difference. So Arduino is an electronics innovation that started off in a design school. So that's a different way of looking at this. The object on the left is the kit that I used when I was 7 years old to learn about electronics. And obviously when we were working on Arduino, I thought, you know, if a 7-year-old with zero knowledge can build a working electronic circuit, there is a way that we can use design to make tools that make technology available to anyone. And obviously the other reference is Olivetti. Probably the first company in the world to apply design to everything, to buildings, products, posters, whatever. Huge inspiration. Also, you know, we were in the town where Olivetti was born, so that was another important inspiration for us. And, you know, one of the things that we also worked on is if we are trying to do something different, to teach something in a different way, we have to get together different new ways of teaching, but also acquire different ways of teaching. For example, that's a picture of me with a lot more hair than now, trying to, you know, do this project-based learning by doing. All this innovation, not only in the electronics, but also in the way you teach, gave us, this is going to magically appear, boom, the Arduino Uno, which was the platform where all our effort kind of came together, and it became a tool that has been manufactured in millions of units, that has been used by people all over the world. And I just want to show you a graph. This is the amount of downloads of the Arduino IDE in the last 12 months. The Arduino IDE is the software that somebody would download for free to program their hardware. And you can see the number is incredible. It's 36.7 million downloads in a year. It's more than 3.5 million people just in the US, which means 1% of the population. but it's, as one of my colleagues said, it's one person every 200 in the world probably downloaded the IDE. So it's very clearly one of the most successful software development environments that exist. And but let's talk about a little bit about our strategy and also where we're going in the future. But to do that, let me call on stage my friend Fabio Violante, who is the CEO of Arduino. Incidentally, he's also the guy who said, look, there is this school who is looking for someone who can do hardware. Here's the business card, write to this lady. And that's it, here we are, 20 years later.
Perfect.
I'll give you the microphone. Oh, you're mic'd up.
I have the microphone
I'll leave
here.
you.
So hello everyone, it's very exciting to be here with you today in this exciting opportunity. And of course, I joined Arduino not as a co-founder, but I joined in 2017 and took over a big heritage from the founders, trying to develop, still being cohesive with our mission of empowering anyone to innovate by making complex technology simple to use. When I started, I saw a huge community of people using our platform, buying our products, and engaging among each other to develop more software, more creative stuff. And we figured out that there was not a single type of user, but there were many types of user in our community. Of course, education. We are big in education. Arduino has always been in education, but also makers. The entire maker movement started with Arduino. All these crazy little projects you see maker fairs every year and in every place in the world, but also creative people doing home automation projects, robotics, everything is there. But last but not least, a lot of enterprise were using Arduino as a prototyping tool, and they were asking for something that can be used to scale their experience. From there, we developed a strategy, for example, in the pro space, about 4 years ago, to help those customers that were using Arduino and learning Arduino in multiple different ways, from education, from their maker experience in their home projects, or even in their companies, to have professional tools. And we created a product line made of 3 main components: intelligent sensing, system of modules, and also finished product. Today, Arduino has a PLC line of products that is used by thousands of industries in the world. So we started working around this portfolio, but we also had to do a big effort and investment in order to support in a more comprehensive way their experience. So we created what is called the Arduino Cloud that gives people the ability to develop software, and also today, thanks to large language models, to develop software with the help of AI in order to lower the barrier to entry and stay loyal to our mission, but also to connect those devices and create a full experience of IoT and Edge AI in partnership with companies that we met along our journey. And one of them is Edge Impulse. You will see a lot of people from Edge Impulse here, and it's a pleasure to have them integrated in our platform even before they joined the Qualcomm family. And I think that in order to enable Edge AI use cases, you need to have a solid foundation of hardware. I will not go into the details, but we moved from 8-bit microcontroller from the very beginning, that was a very powerful and is still a very successful family of products from Arduino, to more sophisticated technology based on ARM Cortex architectures, going up to Cortex M4, M7, and even combination of microprocessors and microcontroller. This means a lot of effort from our team that I'm so thankful at all levels, from our R&D team that was able to put together a big picture in a relatively short amount of time. And I think that there is an important event today, and you may wonder if we are calling you here just to talk about the history of Arduino and how intelligent we are, but that's not the case. So I think that today the world is characterized by a lot of new things. On one side, software defines everything. So this is a big quantum leap. So from software-defined radio to software-defined vehicles, buildings, the software is a very important component in our life today. There is a second aspect, that is the fact that more powerful and accessible tools are available today, and programming languages and new paradigms are emerging. And this is very, very important for shaping the future and the strategy of every company. And the common denominator about this revolution is also the rise of AI. AI is becoming a powerful tool in everyday life, but also for embedded devices, for robotics application, for everything that is close where the reality is. And we cannot ignore, because even our users, our makers, our students in our community are really willing to exploit what is possible with AI applied to the physical world. So starting from that, of course, AI is not a simple topic. It requires basically a lot of effort, and what we believe in Arduino is a way to make everything simple is to remain open, accessible, and more importantly, as Massimo was saying, human-centric. Arduino is a human-centric technology company. And we are we try to stick very well to this principle in everything we do. And today you're here for a reason. And the reason is here. I'm very proud to announce that Qualcomm acquires Arduino, and of course, it's a big moment, a very emotional moment for me, because we've been working night and day to make interesting technology. But better than me describing what is partnership with Qualcomm and what this does mean for the entire world and the future of our community, I would call on stage our friend Nakul Dugal, that has one of the most complicated titles in the industry, Group General Manager of Automation, Industrial and Embedded IoT. So basically, complicated name, Nakul, welcome on stage. This next slide.
Fabio, thank you. If you want to remember anything about my title, it's the Embedded IoT part. Fabio, Massimo, thank you so much. I think this journey over the last year has been fantastic, and congratulations for all of the success that Arduino has been able to accomplish over the last 20 years. We admire Arduino, and that's one of the primary reasons we are here. This is a big moment for the company, and let me maybe start off with drawing some parallels. Qualcomm celebrated our 40 years in September of this year. Qualcomm was founded by two professors, Dr. Urban Jacobs, Dr. Andrew Viterbi, very successful professors, very successful businessmen. And the DNA of Qualcomm runs engineering. We are all engineers. It's something that is very close to how the company's foundation was built. And all of us who've been in the company for a long time, this is actually a very important point in time for us, because this is something that we take very seriously. It's a big responsibility for us. Let me explain to you what that means. We've been a technology company from the inception. We have invented wireless communications. The company invented CDMA, expanded over to 3G, 4G, 5G. We've been very successful in taking technologies that we built and made them globally scalable. We built entire ecosystems, from handsets to infrastructure to chips, major business programs, scaling this across really every region, every major market, every ecosystem. Over the last 20 years, we've expanded from communications into smartphones. We are one of the world's largest smartphone chip providers. We've expanded into IoT, into automotive, into compute. And what is very clear to us as we look ahead, as Fabio described very well, The world is becoming much more software-centric. Tools are in the hands of smart young people that can program. Programming paradigms are completely changing, and the foundation is AI. AI is going to change the way that the next type of product is built. We see this. This is something that we believe is upon us. It is really happening right now. And over the next 5 to 10 years, we will see a tremendous amount of opportunity in terms of how this world is going to look. And that is going to create the opportunity for a variety of different products to get built. Our job is to make sure that we enable, at scale, the technology, the products, the intellectual capabilities that are needed for every developer to be able to build products at scale. The 33 million developers that Arduino has, the 35 million downloads that are happening every year, that to us shows that there is a tremendous amount of hunger to be able to get access to best-in-class technology, and that is one of the primary reasons why we felt this merger with Arduino was going to be very valuable for both the Arduino ecosystem and for Qualcomm. For the Arduino ecosystem, what does this mean? We believe that the ability to have access to more technology, more capability, and acceleration where the entire ecosystem is able to move faster, prototype faster, build proofs of concept faster, and commercialize faster is just going to bring AI in the hands of every end customer, every end enterprise. For a company like Qualcomm, we want to be able to make sure that our technology touches as many end ecosystems as possible. And we are already seeing the scale at which this ecosystem is able to work. Going forward, for us, what will be very important is to make sure that Arduino remains an open ecosystem. We're going to set Arduino up as an independent subsidiary inside Qualcomm. So we make sure that all of the goodness, all of the community, all of the open source ethos that Arduino has is fully maintained. And this is something that is foundational for us. Could we advance to the next slide, please? And this is something that is foundational to us in terms of how we will approach the way that we work with the Arduino community. We're having some technical trouble. Bear with us. The ability for us to be able to bring everything that we do at scale at Qualcomm, and we build a tremendous amount of technology that touches every single ecosystem, a variety of different products. Our goal is to be able to bring this over into the Arduino ecosystem and do this in a way that is compliant with, that meets the criteria, that meets the ways of working of the open community that Arduino has built. I'm also very proud to share today that because of the tremendous amount of work done by both teams over the last 9 months, not only are we announcing the acquisition of Arduino, but we are also announcing our first joint product, the Arduino Uno Q. Why was this important? We already understood that for us to be able to walk in your shoes, for us to be able to walk in the shoes of the Arduino community, we have to embrace the way that you work. So what we are very proud to show you, and you will see demonstrations outside, is how we have not only embraced the way that the Arduino ecosystem works, but we have adapted, we have changed the way that Qualcomm delivers hardware, delivers software, delivers the capabilities, the documentation, the ways of working that will make the Arduino ecosystem understand how they can get access to a very large footprint of products, IP capabilities that will allow you to be able to accelerate the work that you're doing. Secondly, as I mentioned in my earlier remarks, we are going to make sure that Arduino remains an independent subsidiary inside Qualcomm. This is something that I understand is important to the ecosystem, as it should be. And for me, one important success criteria is that the change of ownership should really have no bearing to the entire Arduino ecosystem. To support this, we will continue to support all of the multiple silicon vendors, silicon partners that Arduino works with, and that is one of the primary reasons why Arduino will remain an independent subsidiary. And by the way, this is very consistent with the recent acquisition of Edge Impulse that we did about 6 months ago. Edge Impulse has been a partner to Arduino, and Edge Impulse operates also as an independent subsidiary inside Qualcomm. These are very important criteria for us, and I appreciate all of you being here. And I will need help to advance the slides again.
Little technical glitch. We need just
Okay.
The streaming people are saying there's an issue. So we have 1 minute.
Okay. Do we need to rewind or?
Sorry for the...
Apologies. We have a technical glitch in the streaming, so apologies. Appreciate your patience.
Yeah, we need a couple of minutes to resync the streaming. Don't know exactly what happened, but you see the main problem is that the phone that you're holding is not running on a Qualcomm processor. So I think that is the main problem.
We can fix that.
So now fixing it, it's going to take a couple of minutes, but maybe one of the things that I wanted to start chatting about is that since this has been quite a long process, and also the two of you that were the two that were more involved in making it happen, it'd be cool to kind of explain a little bit how this thing happened, and because it's a process that lasted more than 9 months. I mean, 9 months is the part that was really kind of working really hard on the deal, but before, you know.
Yeah, I think it's a good question. For us, when we started to look at the opportunities in the embedded space about, let's say, 2 years ago, what was very clear was that while there was a lot of processing, a lot of connectivity, the ability for AI to be deployed at the edge democratically was really very early because AI itself was evolving. There was a tremendous amount of change in the market. But ecosystems like Arduino and many others were still not at the point where they could democratically use AI as they had previous technologies. So for us, what was very important was to make sure that we worked with ecosystems, and at some level we embraced ecosystems that would allow us to be able to meet our ambitions. When I had a chance to meet with Fabio, it became pretty clear that he had exactly the same thinking. And so it was, very easy conversation. Fabio's a great guy, and
No, and it was funny because if you remember, I just went to the wrong Qualcomm office.
Yes,
so you had to wait for me for 30 minutes.
It's like a wrong point.
That was funny enough, but I think the alignment was really great. And also, I speak for our engineers. For us, the Qualcomm technology was a dream because we wanted since many years to get your technology in the Arduino products. So. And the alignment on the vision for the future was really great. So this is a partnership that started at the industrial level. So I think that was a continuous synchronization of thinking, getting to know each other way more in depth. So that was fantastic experience with all your team at Qualcomm, all the engineers, all product managers. So you have many people, but it was very fantastic experience.
I think we have a video that they want to show. So it says there, get off the stage. So
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So since we had a glitch in the live stream, I will repeat this slide. As you could see from the announcement of the Arduino Uno Q, this is something that we are taking very seriously. For us, it's very important that we are part of this community. We embrace the community. We do all of the things that are needed, that you expect of us. And so for that, first of all, a big thanks to the Qualcomm team and to the Arduino team for being able to put in some tremendous amount of work over the last 9 months to be able to pull this off. Look, I think for us, the industrial logic for why an acquisition of Arduino makes sense. First of all, we build a tremendous amount of technology across our portfolios, and we wish to make sure that this technology is available in the hands of every developer that is out there. As I mentioned earlier, we believe that there is a tremendous amount of opportunity with Edge AI. The types of products that will be relevant to us in the future, given the scale at which AI is evolving, are not things we can imagine. This isn't something that there is a template for. We believe that these products will be coming through the creativity and the imagination of developers, all of you, and the Arduino community. And so for us, it's very important to make sure that we arm you with all of the capability, all of the accelerators that are needed, such that you can prototype faster, build proofs of concept, and commercialize faster. For us, it is also very important that we cherish and we support the open source ethos that is the foundation of the Arduino ecosystem. And so from that perspective, Arduino will remain an independent subsidiary within Qualcomm. It will continue to support multiple silicon partners as it has. And this is, by the way, no different than what we have done with the recent acquisition of Edge Impulse about 6 months ago. Edge Impulse also has been a partner to Arduino, first of all, but exists as an independent subsidiary supporting multiple silicon partners. So with that, I will turn it over to the product team, to my friend Marcello. And again, thank you very much. We are really excited about what's to come.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Hoping that the slide deck is actually following us, which it doesn't seem to work. Huh? We're still gonna plow through and talk to you a little bit about the product. So if we're going to the next slide. Awesome. No, next slide. Okay, so from Massimo and Fabio, you heard about the last 20 years of Arduino, and it all started with the Arduino Uno R3, with a tiny 8-bit microcontroller, and then it evolved over the year and riding on the massive popularity of the Arduino IDE and the developer ecosystem that it really built and grew over the years with the release of the 32-bit Uno R4 in 2022. Now, in 2025, thanks with the partnership with Qualcomm and a great work that the combined engineering teams, have been doing together, we are really, ready to take it to the next level, introducing, the Uno Q, which is the most capable Arduino Uno ever. And, this is really, if you're going to the next slide, really thanks to the hybrid design of Arduino Uno Q that combines a Qualcomm Dragonwing QRB2210 microprocessor, going to the next slide, with an ST Microelectronics microcontroller in what we call a dual brain architecture or a hybrid design. At the same time, on the software side, it combines the power of Linux Debian with Arduino Core running on Zephyr OS. And everything together actually features a major new software that we are releasing today along with the Uno Q, which is the Arduino App Lab, a revolutionary developer experience that is bringing together Sketches, the traditional way of developing on Arduino boards, Python and AI models in order to bring a cohesive developer experience that in order to make this type of development as easy as it has ever been. But of course, the Arduino Uno Q is an Arduino Uno, and thanks to the Uno form factor, is compatible with Uno shields and the large ecosystem of shields that there are out there. But at the same time, it also features quick connectors to connect Modulinos, and also in the back, a brand new connectivity and expansion port that we call Arduino Carrier, in order to connect directly to high-speed GPIOs that are accessing directly the Qualcomm chip. We really see the Uno Q as a Swiss Army knife, and more critically, it continues in the tradition of openness that Arduino has really brought through for over the last years. And on the hardware side, we are releasing. If we're going to the previous slide, thank you. No. Yeah, we are talking about. Sorry. Yep, this one. Great, thank you. On the hardware side, we keep our commitment to openness by releasing the layout and the schematics with open source licenses, and also on the software side with brand new Arduino App Lab, along with the examples being released with open licenses. Going to the next slide, I will leave it to Marta to kind of go a little bit more in depth about all the features and characteristics of the Uno Q.
Thanks so much, Marcello. So I guess we are all super excited to learn more about this product, right? As you can see, the Uno Q is basically a great combination of dual brains. So first of all, on one side, we have the Qualcomm Dragonwing 2210, which is basically managing all the high-level tasks and all the really high-performing projects that you would like to do with your board. On the other hand, we have an STM32U585, which is running an Arduino core, so all the Arduino sketches, all the Arduino libraries you are familiar with, over a Zephyr operating system. But the good part about it is that you have a dual brain architecture, but it's not complex at all in order to program it, because you get access to an Arduino bridge library, which is basically managing all the complexity to put the two sides of the board into communication. And not only that, for the Uno Q, we provided also this new development experience through the Arduino App Lab. And inside App Lab, you get access to all the capabilities in order to develop Python scripts, if you are familiar with Python, Arduino sketches, and even, of course, AI model, that is the things that are most interesting for all the users at the moment. So if we move to the next slide, please. Let's deep dive a bit more on the hardware capabilities. So we already mentioned the processor, the microcontroller, but beyond that, what we provide with the Uno Q is, of course, the RAM, and the RAM is coming in two variants, so 2 GB and 4 GB, and embedded storage, which is something completely special for this board. So whenever you purchase it, you will get access to 16 GB memory or 32 GB memory, depending on your project needs. In addition to that, of course, we want our projects to be fully connected. So we are going to deliver also a dual-band Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5.1, so you can really develop connected projects that are suitable for your needs. And then we have a USB-C port. The USB-C port is not a simple programming port that you can use in order to develop all your code, but is also the peripheral that allows you to power up the board and to have access to tons of other possibilities, because you can basically plug in your USB-C a dongle and you get access to monitor, keyboard, webcams, whatever you need for your project. And of course, we kept also the LED matrix because everyone loved it on the Uno R4, so why not? Then, this product is still an Uno. So, it's still an Uno, so since it's an Uno, we had to guarantee compatibility with the full Uno ecosystem. And what does it mean? Next slide, please. No, next. Okay, perfect, thank you. We get access to the compatibility with all the Arduino Uno shields that are in the market. So on the top of the board, you have two connectors that are the standard Arduino Uno headers with the same pins, and you can plug in any Arduino Uno shield in the market. and just test it out right away, leveraging the same sketches, the same libraries that you are all familiar with. But then, of course, this is a processor-based board, so we had to expose also all the capabilities of the processor, and this is the reason why we had the two high-speed connectors at the bottom that open up the possibility to tons of new applications, because you can basically plug a carrier board that are coming soon in the market, and you will get access to peripherals like MIPI CSI, MIPI DSI, audio signals to make your projects really super fancy. And then we decided to keep also the quick connector, because the quick connector guarantees compatibility to plenty of I2C sensors and actuators that are in the market, including the Arduino Modulinos that you can even connect in daisy chain up to 50. So really the possibilities are toneless. But of course, this product needs to be programmed somehow. And this is where the Arduino App Lab comes into play. So the Arduino App Lab is a framework that is combining all the programming experiences that you need in order to make your UnoQ to perform at its best. So you have access to Python scripts and edit also, of course, all those Python scripts, Arduino sketches, AI models, libraries, whatever you need, but without the complexity of having to deal with Docker containers or all those stuff that many people in the market do not even know they exist. And so, which is the experience that we are expecting on Arduino App Lab? So, first of all, you need to, of course, to start playing. And playing means having access to App Lab, open one of the examples. There are plenty, trust me, we developed so many. So you can just take one and run it on your board, and it will run right away. So you don't need to write any line of code to do so. Then, of course, you need to start understanding how it works, and you might need to start adding that example. And that means that you can start tinkering. So you take one of those examples, you customize the code, you change some peripherals, you might change the sensors that the example is using, and then you are ready to start learning how the full App Lab works. And the learning experience is not only try and test and trial and error, but basically you get access to tons of documentation embedded inside App Lab or available through the Arduino documentation website, where you can find, tutorial, application notes, all the stuff Arduino is super popular for. And so you can take inspiration and start develop your next project without having all the friction at start. And then, of course, you will become the master of App Lab. And when you are the master of App Lab, means that you are going to be able to develop your app completely from scratch, starting from zero. So you even grab one of the existing code that you have already developed, or you develop something completely new. There are all the tools there in order to do so. But how can you run App Lab? So App Lab, of course, can run on your PC. So you basically download it, and you have access to all the capabilities of App Lab. You can grab your UnoQ, connect it via USB-C, or if you are under the same network, even wirelessly, and you can program your board. But then, of course, this is a PC. So what does it mean? That you can take your UnoQ, you connect a USB-C dongle to it, monitor, keyboard, mouse, webcam if you need, microphones, whatever that is needed for your project. And App Lab will come directly pre-installed in your device. That means that you don't need to do anything. You just switch it on, you run your example, and then you are ready to go. So I really hope you will enjoy it. So Marcello, what do you think about it? We are super excited. So.
Absolutely. Is it exciting, guys? Okay, so Arduino UnoQ, we kind of we scratch the surface, and it's really a high performance computing at the reach of the bigger audience that has ever been. And also we are really happy to really bring UnoQ at an incredible price. But we're not quite ready to share the price because first we want to really kind of deep dive on a few key characteristics that makes UnoQ what UnoQ is. And to start with, I actually want to show what is the early results of us putting the UnoQ in the hands of enthusiasts, innovators, professional developers and teachers. And along the next presentation, you will actually see a few examples and some testimonials. And I will actually want to start with two cases in industrial scenarios. The first one is actually a partner of ours that took the UnoQ just a couple of weeks back, and they made a nice PLC out of it, with the UnoQ inside it, and it's a ready-to-be-used product. And they, thanks to the ease of use, both from a hardware and software side of UnoQ, they were able to turn this thing around in just a few days, compared to several months that usually is the development life cycle of this type of products. But before getting to Manny Singh from Qualcomm that will talk to us about the chipset that is really featuring the UnoQ, we want to launch a video, the testimonial of Margherita Faragata from IDT Solution that is sharing her experience with using the UnoQ in an industrial environment. Thank you so much.
Enjoy it.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Margherita, I'm CEO at IDT, a benefit corporation based in Turin that was founded in 2016 with a very clear mission. We update standards thinking out of the box. We started out with the idea of bringing open source hardware and software technologies into the world of industrial automation. Today, we're a team of 30 people, and we focus on providing end-to-end solutions to our clients with a vendor-neutral open standards approach. We're not tied to anyone's platform, which allows us to build solutions that are more agile, cost-effective, and customer-centric. Our relationship with Arduino goes back years. In 2016, we started out using Arduino products for small industrial applications like Pocoyoke systems, when open-source hardware was still untested for the industry. And I'm proud to say that nowadays, this automation still runs 24/7 in an automotive plant. What you'll see in our demo today is an industrial-ready application, a smart fixture actually, performing quality and presence checks on an automotive interior plastic component. What we missed in this type of fixture that we designed, apart from having a lightweight, stackable application powered by a piece of hardware that could be both reduced in size and costs, was the option to have a simple HMI for the operator and for traceability purposes that could run on the same system without integrating additional hardware, as well as the possibility of using different vision systems and different cameras for quality checks. That's why we needed an operating system, and that's when the UnoQ came in. The robot, with a camera on the wrist, checks the presence and correct positioning of the plastic clips on the component placed and fixed onto the jig. All sensors and actuators are controlled by the UnoQ, which has both the controls program running and the user interface running, with also the machine vision software integration. All of this on the same board. All the electronics are placed on top of the fixture, while the cobot is on the side, and the handles make the system super easy to be moved around. With the UnoQ, Arduino is giving us exactly what we need. Not only indeed it has a microcontroller, but also a microprocessor with an integrated GPU optimized for AI purposes. A simple board to do everything you need on a small automation. For us at IDT, it's not just new hardware, it's a new way to bring open innovation to the factory floor, faster and with fewer compromises. We're proud to stand alongside Arduino in this journey, and we can't wait to see what the community will build next. Thank you.
All right. Good thing I have only one slide, so we don't need to worry about skipping. So let's talk about QRB 2210. QRB 2210 is our entry-level SoC that is purpose-built for developers building intelligent, smart, connected edge devices. It brings together low-power, heterogeneous compute, integrated connectivity, and all the ability to run AI workloads, all in a compact and cost-effective package. What makes QRB 2210 is special is that it's not just for prototyping. This is a production-grade silicon with long-term availability, giving developers a clear path to go from idea to deployment. Under the hood, QRB 2210 has a quad-core CPU up to 2 gigahertz that gives you enough headroom to run vision-based navigation, for example, control loops, and connectivity workload, all simultaneously without any bottlenecks. It also includes a 3D graphics accelerator that allows you to build rich UI experiences with OpenGLES and run parallel compute workloads with OpenCL. There's a dedicated VPU with hardware codecs that allows the developers to run streaming, recording, and processing video efficiently, freeing up the CPU cycles. It has a low-power DSP that allows you to run audio and voice processing even when the processor is asleep. You get a dual ISP. This is for stereo vision and advanced perception, and a DSI display support that allows you to seamlessly integrate with screens. And all of this is in 1 watt of power envelope. 1 watt. This power envelope enables fanless battery-powered device without any power or thermal constraints. And it is designed for real-world operation with a wide temperature range for reliable operations in different environments. And here's something the developer community is going to love, that it supports standard Debian Linux. This is first for Qualcomm, so a huge evolution in how we will serve the developer community going forward. So standard Debian Linux that is stable, open, and is community maintained. Now the QRB 2210, it also provides seamless connectivity that is power and performance optimized. And finally, it runs all sorts of AI workloads from vision to audio to time series with light RT on CPU and GPU without needing an external accelerator. So that's huge. So in summary, QRB 2010 is a small but a mighty SoC that enables developers to build connected, intelligent, and production-ready devices, and with the openness and flexibility of Linux. And we cannot wait to see what you will build next with Uno Q. At this point of time, I want to invite Loic on the stage to talk about Linux enablement. Loic.
Thanks, Manny. So from hardware to software, I'll talk a little bit about software. So, hi everyone, I'm Loic. I'm part of the open source engineering at Qualcomm. My team is not here this week, they're traveling, but I know they're watching. So my team is lots of upstream maintainers contributing to Linux, Mesa, U-Boot, lots of upstream open source projects. And they were extremely excited to join forces with Arduino in this project. The Arduino engineering team is simply amazing. They truly get open source, they understand community, and it was a real pleasure to work with them. And they're great at design too. So when they took Debian and they created their own user experience based on Debian, they created this super simple desktop you can use as an SBC, or this elegant Arduino IDE you can plug directly to the board to work and create your own applications. So it is plain Debian, it is Debian XFC, it's a very simple take on Debian, and you basically get what you expect, a simple Debian experience. But I want to talk about two very specific angles which are new for Qualcomm that we took in this project. The first one is upstream first. So what does upstream first mean? Usually when you create a product, you start from a particular version of the software. Let's say Linux kernel, or I don't know, some bootloader libraries, whatever you start from. And then you have to fix things, you have to change things, you have to add features. And as you do that, you add patch after patch after patch, and you diverge from upstream. So one completely new thing for Qualcomm that we did in this project was to work using the very latest upstream software. We kept rebasing to the latest kernel, to the latest software releases of all the components we're integrating. We're tracking Debian Trixie as a rolling release before it was released this year. And that allowed us to upstream our patches progressively. And what it means is that there is close to no delta between what's shipping on the Uno queue and upstream software. Why is upstream first so important? Because it allows people that are going to create product, that have to innovate on top of what we did. They're going to have a sane base with very little vendor patches to worry about. They can create easily. And it's also a sign of quality. Getting the patches accepted upstream means that you're actually passing the reviews, that you're raising the bar of your software to be acceptable upstream. And it's also a proof of long-term availability, of sustainability of the software. The next kernel, the next version of Mesa, the next version of the bootloader, of like any of the user space software you're using, will still support your hardware. And that's really, really important for people building product, for people creating software and hardware, so that they can trust that they can build a long-term solution based on this board. The other kind of like unique thing, both for Qualcomm and for Arduino, was the choice of Debian. So why Debian? This is the first board you can get with Debian preloaded, both from Arduino and from Qualcomm. I'm really excited about Debian shipping on this hardware. But why Debian, right? Like Qualcomm is excellent at delivering Android. Qualcomm is doing Yocto in Qualcomm Linux for years now. So why ship Debian? Why this kind of like new operating system? Well, Debian is a very respected operating system. Arduino is 20 years. Qualcomm is 40 years. Debian is 32 years. It's really a big longevity for a Linux operating system in these years. But what Debian brings, it's not just like 30,000 packages. It's not just like, apt install like any software and you can do whatever you want. What Debian brings is really this developer comfort that people expect. And here I'm taking like a random data point. Some people might say the Eclipse IoT survey is maybe a little bit biased towards like people using Raspberry Pi or something. But if you look at what people are running, yes, they are using Yocto, but actually the top 3 operating systems that people decide that they want to work with are Debian, Ubuntu, and Raspbian. So all deb-based operating systems. And so we want to tap into the finger reflexes of these developers and allow them to use the environment that they're most comfortable with to create their own product. So when you go to production, you might actually switch to Yocto. You might use Foundries to do OTA. You might manage the updates through like a nice SaaS from Qualcomm to maintain your developer fleet or your production fleet of devices. But during development, you're most likely to use Debian. And the fact that we've upstreamed all the software and that Debian is possible is proof that any Linux is possible. If Debian is possible, so is any other Linux distro. And I can't wait to see what the community will build in terms of Linux distros on this board. Thanks. But the UnoQ has 2 brains. I talked about the Linux brain, and I'm going to pass the mic to Benjamin, who's going to tell us about Zephyr.
All right, UnoQ being dual brain, so we're going to focus on the microcontroller side of the UnoQ. I'm Benjamin Cabé from the Zephyr project, and yeah, we're really excited about the partnership. Next slide, please. That'd be easier. Yeah, there we go. Zephyr, you've heard it mentioned a couple times already. For those who don't know, Zephyr RTOS is running basically in hundreds of millions of devices out there, all the way from Intel PCs, laptops, industrial machines, really small wearables, Bluetooth devices, medical, healthcare. It's an open source operating system for microcontrollers. I guess you could say it's Linux for microcontrollers, right? And what people use Zephyr with is basically having a solution for not reinventing the wheel, right? The idea is that you want to build on a rock-solid foundation, which starts with a real-time operating system, a kernel, a scheduler that you can use to pack as much stuff as possible on your small, tiny microcontroller, which is exactly what you find on the UNO-Q, on the STM32 microcontroller there. And so the kernel provides all the basic scheduling services, and then there's an entire ecosystem of open source, hardware agnostic services and APIs for developers to, again, not reinvent the wheel. Leverage file system APIs and integration with cryptographic silicon, et cetera, and so people, system integrators, product makers, developers, they build on top of Zephyr, and that's exactly what the Arduino community and the Arduino company has been doing, standing on the shoulders of giants, building the Arduino core on Zephyr. So what this means effectively for developers is that, as Marta mentioned before, it's still the Arduino Sketch and Arduino programming language that people have learned to love over the last 20 years or so. But under the hood, it's Zephyr. It's this sort of rock-solid, validated firmware that's already there. And when developers write their Arduino sketches, they effectively only compile, deploy the very few lines of codes and bits that is their actual application. So this makes for a much faster sort of like developer experience. Like you deploy your sketches way much faster. And again, for most developers, like historical Arduino users, this might not change much. You still use your Arduino setup, Arduino loop in your sketches. But under the hood, there's this thing called linkable loadable extensions, which effectively allows the Zephyr operating system to dynamically deploy the sketches on top of, again, an already built and validated firmware. And if you wish, you can dig deeper into the Zephyr ecosystem and start leveraging in your sketches some of the things that make Zephyr actually quite powerful, starting with the scheduler. You have many things that you want to run on your microcontroller to interact with your sensors, your actuators, and whatnot. You can leverage that. Maybe you want to leverage some of the tools from the Zephyr ecosystem to create a software bill of material for your application, because, I mean, Cyber Resilience Act is around the corner, and that's one thing that Zephyr supports out of the box. And emulation and testing, et cetera, et cetera. So I've actually prepared a small demo that shows everything in action. So yeah, let's see the demo, and don't blink, pun intended, because it's going to be pretty fast. But showing you here, as the video will start showing up, a UNO-Q using some sensors, Modulino sensors. You can see the LEDs turning red because something bad is happening. And so that's running on the MCU, but then, like Marta mentioned, on the microprocessor using Python, I could easily put together a GUI, a website that pulls the data from the sensors, visualize them in real time, and in fact, I went slightly further and actually used some of the Zephyr APIs to dig into all the processes that run on the board. And you can see that it's more than just my distance proximity detection thingy. There's also a bunch of other things, and whenever an alert is detected, the microcontroller, gets really busy and runs this critical task. In fact, it can actually run this critical task all the meanwhile I'm deploying a new application on the device. And you can see here we are doing from think to blink and back to blink. This went really fast, but basically right from the microprocessor brain, I did deploy a new application. One could say a container that's running alongside what I already had, and this is all made possible by Zephyr RTOS and all made possible by everything that came before it, like the Arduino philosophy and Arduino way of life, Arduino IDE, and also Arduino App Lab, which I've been using for this demo, and I think we're going to hear a bit more about it just now. So really excited to see what you guys will build with it.
Hello everyone, nice to see so many people here in Torino. Museo Nazionale dell'Automobile, National Museum of Automobile, and so many other people connected online. So, in addition to the quality hardware that Arduino designs, manufactures, supports, and distributes globally, we provide many tools for our community. Among those, there is the Arduino IDE, where many of us began. Developers around the world just love it for its simplicity, open source spirit, and massive ecosystem of integrated libraries. It's where countless ideas started, from a simple LED blinking to some of the most inspiring projects of the last 2 decades. But technology never stands still. New tools require new challenges, require new tools, like switching slides, apparently. And so while the IDE remains the go-to solution for microcontroller programming, today we're making a giant leap forward. Arduino App Lab brings microcontroller, Linux, and AI together into one unified environment. It's designed for beginners, creators, professionals alike, and with App Lab, going from a simple sketch to advanced AI applications has never been easier. Thank you. So, Arduino Apps allows developers to seamlessly combine Python code that is running on a microprocessor with C code running as a sketch on the microcontroller. This means precision and flexibility side by side in one single project. That's a world of new possibilities. Yeah. So, before we unpack all of that, let's do a little step back. Libraries are at the core of our user creativity, right? It's just what it is. Thanks to our amazing community, as of today, we have more than 8,000 available libraries, and the number is growing on a weekly basis. So libraries simplified hardware programming, but today developers need tools that can simplify advanced computing. That's where bricks come in. So if you try to run an AI application on an embedded system, you agree with one thing: it's complex. However, with bricks, it becomes simple. For example, let's say that you want to combine computer vision with real-time motor control. You will just need to pick the object detection brick, the right library, snap them together, and you're done. It's pretty much like construction toys, but in this case, what you're getting is an application that can think. So, what actually are bricks? You can think as digital building blocks. A brick is a modular software component that you add into your project for advanced functionality. Under the hood, a brick provides a Python library with a simple API. It automatically deploys Docker containers with AI models, complete with dependencies, and optimized for the hardware. No installation hassle. So, as Marta said with Marcello before, App Lab comes preloaded on UnoQ. With App Lab, there are preloaded AI models. For example, object detection, sound recognition, and anomaly detection, and more. These models give users instant access to AI-powered applications. Users can browse, filter, and download models directly, or train their own model through seamless integration with the Gimpulse. And the best part, all models run directly on the board, no cloud required. So now, how about we see it in action? What do you think? We selected inventors, educators, creators, makers, just a few, and we gave them some Uno cues. They came up with the craziest idea. So the first one that I want to invite on stage is someone very passionate about robotics, YouTube, of course, with 1.3+ million followers, and Star Wars. Please welcome on stage from the UK, James Bruton.
Hello.
Hey, James. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So, tell our audience who you are, what you do, before we dive in.
Sure, so my name is James Bruton, and I'm a YouTuber. So YouTube's actually my full-time job, creating YouTube videos. And part of that means I have to build things people will click on. Otherwise, I won't have any money and I won't be able to do it. So, yeah, massive Star Wars fan. I built a Star Wars AT-AT, or AT-AT, however you want to say that I can ride on. It only walks at 60 meters an hour, but, you know, it's not for practical reasons. Neither was the ball-wheeled bike, which is omnidirectional. It balances sideways like a Segway, but it has balls as wheels. And I also built another bike which has 4 wheels, which are on the wrong way round. So each one has 16 little wheels at 45 degrees all around it, so it can do some pretty crazy things, and basically it screws itself along. And of course, all of these projects have Arduinos in. The AT-AT actually has 5, because there's 1 in each leg and 1 in the controller.
That's pretty cool, James. And when we gave you the Arduino Uno Q, you thought about a vehicle, right?
A vehicle, and we're in a motor museum today, so I thought a car that I can ride on would be a really good project to show it off. So basically, I built a car which is driven by one of the AI models, which is the face detection example using the object detection brick. So I'm really much more comfortable with the Arduino code than I am on Linux and Python and AI stuff. But it's really easy to just bring that brick in, bring the example in, and then get the code, or the variable in my Arduino code for the face detection bounding box, essentially. So just like an analog joystick, I've got a variable for moving left and right, and I've also got one for how big it is. So I had to filter out some of the background people if it does multiple detections. So if there's people in the background, we need to get rid of them if they're too small. So I did that just with an Arduino if statement that says if they're smaller than 100 pixels, ignore them. So that sort of processing is really easy to do. And all the familiar libraries are there in App Lab. So I use the servo library to drive the electronic speed controllers for the back wheels. And I'm also reading an analog pot on the steering column, and then using the PID library that already exists to close the loop and drive analog right to some motor drivers that drive 2 motors that control the electric steering. So basically, that was just Arduino code to me, something I do all the time, but driven by the face tracking AI model.
That's super cool. Thank you, James.
And it's here today, so there'll be a demo shortly. And if you're not here today, then there'll be a YouTube channel, video in my channel in about a week or 2 with the whole build using the Uno Q.
And for the lucky people in the room, you can show to them right out there. Maybe let someone drive it? Too dangerous?
Or maybe. You can definitely, I can disable the back wheels, which are 4 kilowatts of brushless motors. So you'll be able to sit on it and, you know, and lean and see the steering operating though. It works with anyone's face, not just mine.
Thank you so much, James.
Thank you.
So, as you all know, at Arduino, we believe in learning by doing. That's why App Lab is packed with ready-to-run examples that are more than just sketches. So they combine Arduino code, Python, and AI models so you can start quickly customize freely and see results instantly. Among those examples, one that I really like is the Hey Arduino example, right? It's a wake word. When Uno Q hears Hey Arduino, does something. There is someone else that was very inspired by this example and built on top of that. Directly from Barcelona, artist, inventor, and educator, Monica Rikic. Ciao, Monica. Welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here in the presentation of this Arduino Q. And for me, well, as an artist, I create, well, all my practice is based in creating handmade electronics and weird robots in general. And obviously, nothing of this could have been done without the Arduino. And I always remember the very first time I was introduced to this tool. And it was actually kind of like 20 years ago, more or less, so it was in the very beginning, and it was in the university. I was studying fine arts, and we had a teacher and said, hey, do you know what is this? Obviously, at the beginning for me, it was like, what is this all about? But now I try to transfer also this knowledge to my students in the master's program as I coordinate in Bau University in Barcelona, so I'm still on it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we've been collaborating for a while. I remember you were also one of the heroes of the Arduino
Exactly.
R4, right?
I was one of the Arduino stars, Arduino R4 stars. And I also introduced that tool to my students in class directly right after. And I have to say that it was a game changer because I really like to work with Uno. And this was Uno, but it also have all the Wi-Fi and other capabilities. And one example, for example, that you can see some of the images here in the video that is going to be looping. One of the examples, it's a project called Flora from a group of students that is actually an experimental game that it was awarded in a Maze Festival in Berlin. And it's actually an electronic garden that it has a lot of handmade creatures and other stuff that are interconnected with each other. And you plant a seed, and from planting that seed, you start a relationship and a story that you keep discovering thanks to this network connection of 4 Arduinos, different motors, and as I said, handmade stuff, which is kind of what I teach them.
Nice. So, of course, you're wearing something interesting now, right? Which is connected to the Hey Arduino example I showed before.
Exactly. I'm wearing this jacket that initially was created for a friend of mine that is called Gabri, that has a fashion brand called Rubert. And he wanted to create a collection inspired by surfers, and he told me if I could do flowers, like Hawaiian flowers that were robotic. So for this, when I was asked by you guys to do something with the Arduino Q, I was inspired by the speech detection, especially, and I started with the Hey Arduino example. So if I talk to my jacket and I say, Hey Arduino, it connects.
Woo!
But it's only a starting. It's only a starting point. I think that it has a lot of things to move forward, and I think that all this AI integration in the Arduino is going to be a game changer again.
Thank you so much. Big applause for Monica.
Thank you.
Okay, now, so from art to home automation, one of the biggest hobbies and passion of our huge community. So the next speaker is local. He's an Italian content creator, but he's big in Italy. A lot of youngsters are inspired by him. I was inspired by him, not a youngster anymore, but yeah. So he has a channel that's called Overvolt. And they started with 3D printing. He owns a plane. He's a very creative person, so I'm gonna let him invite on stage and tell you everything about it. Marco Romboli from Overvolt.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, thank you for being here. So Marco, tell them who you are, what you do, please.
So, I'm Marco. I'm a full-time creator and a YouTuber in Italian. I actually started with a drone, not really 3D printing. And I started with an Arduino 11 years ago. Me and a friend of mine decided to build a drone. And the drones were not a thing back then. Nobody knew about drones, but it was just a more stable helicopter for us. And we decided to do all the control with an Arduino Uno that we had available back then. So we started like programming Arduino and building this drone and filming ourselves doing it. And we started this YouTube channel to upload the videos we were doing about this project. And yeah, 11 years later, I'm here. We've done many projects in DIY stuff. My passion for drones has evolved, as you said, in planes. I became a pilot, and then yeah.
That's very cool. So what did you do with the Uno Q that we handed you, what, 3 days ago, 4 days ago?
Yeah, like 3 days ago. I did a little demo project. It's an alarm, an intruder detecting alarm with the AI human detection model. So we can detect humans and not your cat roaming around the house.
Makes sense.
So if you arm the alarm, you can do it either via the web interface or physically with a Modulino button. And when you arm it, it detects humans with a webcam. And yeah, if it detects a human, it starts firing the alarm, like sounding a buzzer and stuff.
That's pretty cool. And of course, again, you can check it out outside, but we will do some content maybe also for the people who couldn't make it in Torino, right?
Sure, sure, sure.
So I'm interested in your developer experience using AppLab and UnoQ. So how was it?
It was very easy to just drag blocks and build on these bricks, and yeah, the experience is cool. It's cool also to have one unique thing one unique place to program both in Python and in the Arduino C, and everything in one place.
Thank you so much, Marco. Big applause for Overvolt.
Thank you.
So the last video from today, we're going to have so many more videos in the upcoming weeks and months because everybody is loving Arduino Uno Q. But in the meantime, there is a very famous content creator from the US, and well, he likes to make stuff. That's what his YouTube channel is called, I Like to Make Stuff. Check this video by Bob Claggett.
Hi, I like to make stuff. On YouTube, I build all sorts of stuff, from furniture to droids. I work on cars, really whatever's interesting on any given day. And today, I'm working on a tool checkout system for my shop. When people borrow tools, it's really easy to forget who took them and when they took them, so I'm trying to keep track of that in a database. To do that, I'm adding RFID stickers to my tools and then reading them with an RFID reader. That goes to the database and checks them in or out, but that doesn't actually tell me who took the tool. So taking advantage of the Arduino Uno Q, I'm also taking a picture of the person holding the tool and then emailing that picture to myself. Now all this stuff happens on the Uno Q because of its dual architecture. On this single board, I can read sensors, I can work on databases, I can take pictures, I can send emails. This thing is the best Arduino ever. Now, of course, I'm only about halfway done with this project. I still have a lot of work to do, but I'm looking forward to sharing it with you when it's finished.
So Bob couldn't make it, unfortunately, but thank you for giving us the video, Bob. You will see his content soon. So, you know, Arduino DNA is all about user experience. And so how do we continue to lower the barriers to technology for everyone? With AppLab, we've designed a clear user journey consistently with Arduino DNA. First, you begin by playing with the pre-made examples, ready to use, and you get inspired by them. Then you move to the tinker phase. You start tweaking, customizing them, making them your own. Then you can approach learning through the guided material that's available directly on AppLab. Last, you'll master it by creating your own application from scratch and training your own model, your own AI model, on Edge Impulse. Now, to show how model training works seamlessly in this journey, I'll now hand it over to Alessandro. Thank you.
Woo! I'm so excited to be here. It's amazing. We've been working on this integration for a few months now, and it's really exciting to make it available to everybody. I have to go to the next slide. We live... the other way, okay. Yeah, we live in a messy world. The world we live in is changing all the time. Every space, every product, Every person is behaving slightly differently, and there is no one size fit all. This makes our world messy, but also very beautiful, very diverse, right? And we have to adapt. The world is not a perfect lab. We have to develop models that are able to behave and understand the world we live in. That's what makes purpose-built edge AI models really important. Because if your model was trained in perfect lighting, it might not work in the dark. If it was trained on someone's gesture, it might not work on yours. If it was trained on a factory floor that wasn't yours, it might not pick up the object that you're trying to develop. And so it's really important that we build these models that are made in a custom way to actually adapt to the world we live in. These variations are not limitations. They're the reason why we need to build these custom tailored edge AI models. Models that adapt to our world, not the other way around. And that's exactly where Edge Impulse comes in. We built Edge Impulse and integrated with Arduino to make the development of new models more simple, fast, and more accessible to everyone. With Edge Impulse, you can connect your Uno Q out of the box, collect real-world data, train and test your model, and deploy back to your device very quickly. No AI expertise, no complicated setup. Just collect data, design your model, test it, and deploy it back to device, and then rinse and repeat. It's an end-to-end workflow that anybody, even someone brand new to AI, can pick up and start using today. And now let's see it in action. I wanted to show you a simple example of a face detection example to show the simplicity of how to go from data collection to model deployment. First of all, we connect the board to Edge Impulse Studio through the Edge Impulse Linux CLI. Once the board connects, we see it live in Edge Impulse Studio. We then go to data acquisition and start collecting data. We just did this a few minutes ago of me on stage, and you see the data coming in. And then we label it. We label it using Edge Impulse AI labeling. This is a quick and easy way to do labeling of batches of data using Gemini. And now we build an Impulse, a full AI pipeline using YOLO Pro, and we train the model. In this case, we used the YOLO Pro Nano. And then we download the model on the board using the Edge Impulse Linux runner. And you start seeing the detections coming in. Here is the live stream from the board that shows you myself on stage and my face detected. Woo! As you can see, this was actually developed a few minutes ago, right? So apologize for the quick demo, but it's really important that this looks like magic, right? But actually, what's really cool here is that this simple workflow doesn't just apply to this simple demo, right? This applies to any use case, any product that you want to build, any industry, and you can really build your custom model, right, to understand your world in a very simple way. You can use Edge Impulse with any modality, video, audio, or sensors, to solve real problems on the edge using your Uno Q today. In wearables, AI models are running directly on the device, for example, and they can detect health signals or recognize user movement, all privately on device. In automotive, Edge Vision and audio models can monitor driver focus or detect unusual mechanical sounds instantly, even when offline. And in industrial settings, cameras and vibrations can be detected to detect defects on production lines. Different modalities, different industries, different use cases, but the same simple process to collect your data, train your model, and deploy it back to your device. That's the power of Edge Impulse and Arduino, enabling intelligence everywhere, from the tiniest wearable to the largest factory floor. And everything you just seen is live today, and you can go access it from App Lab or Edge Impulse and start building your own model right now. Because the best AI model isn't the one trained in someone else's lab, it's the one trained on your data for your specific use case. Thank you. And now back to Marcello.
Thank you, Alessandro. So, UnoQ, exciting, right? You know, I have to admit that even I, after kind of seeing UnoQ starting on the whiteboard and then becoming real, through the prototypes and the beta software, I'm amazed of seeing coming everything together today in the presentation and the demos. So, just to recap, dual brain architecture, right? Combining, for the first time, the power of, Linux with a QRB 2210 from Qualcomm and, the real-time power of the ST Microelectronics microcontroller. Linux Debian upstream and, the flexibility of, Zephyr OS, all brought together by the revolutionary experience of the Arduino App Lab. AI models ready to be, used or custom trained through Edge Impulse. The classic and iconic Uno shape, along with the new possibilities to connect Modulinos to the quick connector and new carrier connectors for access real time and fast GPIOs connected directly to the Linux subsystem. Connectivity that is built in with the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth as standard in every board, and of course, right, open source licenses for hardware and software to give the maximum freedom to build for every developer out there. So, what about UnoQ? UnoQ is going to be available in two different versions: an entry level with 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of storage. That is going to be available to order today. And ready. And ready to ship by October 24th at the amazing price of 39 euros or $44, depending on the market. And then a 4 GB RAM version with 32 GB of RAM available to order later in November, and that will ship by the end of the year at the price of 53 euros or $59. Amazing, right? So Arduino UnoQ is going to be available globally through a network of global distributors that we partner with us. Of course, it's going to be available on the Arduino store. Pre-order will start today, but also from RS Components, from DigiKey, from Mouser, and from Robo in India. Now, before actually leaving you to a panel that with cool Massimo and Fabio that will talk about the next 20 years of Arduino. I want to leave you with a couple of videos, but also with our bottom line, which is what we would like you to think, and what we thought we have demonstrated today with Arduino UnoQ is quintessentially an Arduino, but it's also a computer. But more importantly, in the hand of amazing creators, but also everyday developers, is anything they want to be. So hang tight. We'll show a testimonial from our distributors that are as excited as we are about the UnoQ, and then in a minute we will have a panel. Thank you so much, folks.
My name is Dave Doherty. I'm the CEO of DigiKey, and I'd like to congratulate the folks at Qualcomm and Arduino on their announced partnership in which Arduino is now part of the Qualcomm group. To me, this may be the most logical combination since the pairing of peanut butter and chocolate. In this case, it represents advanced AI and edge computing paired with Arduino's simplicity and global reach. This relationship is being introduced by a specific product, the UnoQ, effectively adding a single board computer with a Linux-supported MPU and a real-time MCU, joined with the flexibility of the Arduino platform, supporting all of the Arduino shields and the Arduino Apps Lab. It's a privilege for us here at DigiKey to bring this product to market and to offer it to our customers to accelerate their journey to quickly move from concept to product to market. So again, a big thank you for those at Qualcomm and Arduino that made this possible, and to our design community, we can't wait to see what you do with this new capability. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Russell Razor, Global Vice President of Supplier Marketing for Mouser Electronics, here to congratulate Arduino and Qualcomm on their exciting new alliance. For Mouser customers, this partnership represents a significant opportunity. Developers and engineers now have extraordinary access to Qualcomm's advanced AI and edge computing, paired with Arduino's intuitive design and global community. Engineers of all levels can now create faster, smarter, and more efficiently than ever before. This partnership is accompanied by the announcement of the new Arduino Uno Q, a next-generation tool powered by Qualcomm Dragonwing technology and featuring a dual-brain architecture that combines Linux functionality with Arduino innovation. Whether you need the power of a microprocessor, the precision of a microcontroller, or both, the Uno Q delivers it all on a single board. That means faster prototyping, smarter products, and easier learning. From smart consumer applications and robotics to edge AI prototyping and building automation, this board gives engineers the keys to enhanced development of AI-driven solutions, ushering in the era of AI in a blink. Mouser is proud to be a key distributor of the new Arduino Uno Q, with imminent stock availability, providing engineers worldwide with this easier access to groundbreaking product and helping them accelerate their ideas to market. Mouser values our partnership with Arduino and Qualcomm, and together we look forward to driving the future of collaboration, innovation, and accessible technology for all.
Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Richard Curtin, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Product and Supplier Solutions here at the RS Group. Let me firstly say a huge congratulations to the team across Arduino and Qualcomm on this transformative deal, where we now know that Arduino is part of the Qualcomm group. Huge congratulations to everybody that's been involved in the journey to today. This partnership represents a significant new era for developers. We are going to be unleashing new access to AI and edge compute, backed with Arduino's extensive ecosystem and world-class software capabilities. And today we learn of the first product milestone, the launch of the Arduino Uno Q. Exciting, right? Based on the Qualcomm Dragonwing, this product now is going to enable developers access to a new standard of prototyping, product development, ideation, and how engineers and developers learn this new and evolving technology. We know that our customers love Arduino. We already service tens of thousands of Arduino developers around the world, and the news today is only going to accelerate this further. Our community at Design Spark is ready and poised to help drive this technology out across the community platforms, and we are incredibly excited about getting the new products and software packages in the hands of our developer customers around the world.
He's just wished me luck. Nobody told me when I was coming to this that I was coming to a rock concert, or at least that's what it feels like. So, welcome to our rock stars. Come on, team. Should we relax and have some fun?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. No, the light is a little bit strong. But...
It's been very exciting, hasn't it? I'm not sure I can take much more of this. We've been hearing all about Arduino. We've been hearing all about, I think, two very important words to these people out here. heritage and responsibility. That's what's most important to them out there, because they've been believing in you for over 20 years. So what I think we should talk about is how you're going to continue to own that heritage and take that responsibility incredibly seriously moving forward with your new partner here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again for everybody here and everybody who's watching on the live stream. I touched upon it in my remarks, and I was very happy to see all of the content creators actually use the Arduino Uno Q. You know, it has a Qualcomm processor, but it really is an Arduino heritage product. The way that we developed the product was to work very closely with the Arduino team. Our relationship with Arduino in terms of a development partnership is maybe 6 months old. And so the way that this came together was that the Qualcomm teams that have been working on this project supported the Arduino teams with the ways of working that Arduino expects us to be able to go support. The Debian work that Loic talked about and Manny talked about was one of the first times that we've actually done something of that sort on one of our products. So we are making this acquisition because we believe tremendously in what this community has been able to build, and that is the responsibility that we take upon ourselves. We also believe that this community needs to be able to not just convert ideas into proofs of concept, but also to be able to commercialize, and that is something that we certainly know a little bit about, and that I think is what is going to help accelerate Arduino to the next level.
Okay, so when you did your talk earlier on, I thought you used an amazing phrase, which I think we should go through in a little bit more detail and ask some questions of all three of you. So the phrase that you used was walking in their shoes, which I think is a very powerful phrase. So shall we just ask some questions now about what walking in their shoes actually means?
Sure.
And how you see that coming to life with this partnership and what the future holds. So let's take this responsibility very seriously, and let's understand really where Qualcomm, you've just given a little talk about where Qualcomm fits in with Arduino. Tell us sincerely where you see this partnership going with Arduino, and from a Qualcomm point of view, because you come from two very different backgrounds, very different heritage, and these people out here and the people listening to the live stream, they have to trust you moving forward. So just give us a quick summary of where you see that going.
Yeah, maybe a little bit about the Qualcomm journey that we've been on over the last 5-7 years or so. As you saw in my title, I run the automotive business, the industrial and the IoT embedded business. We kicked off the automotive journey about a dozen years ago, and that was a business that we knew very little about. We are now one of the leading chipset vendors in that business, and as you can imagine, the automotive business and the smartphone business are not similar in any way. There is a lot of technology that is shared, but in terms of businesses, that they could not be more diametrically different. The reason I use the example is we know how to live in somebody else's shoes. We know what it takes to build cars. We know what it takes to do safety. We know how to do quality. And we learn that not because we know the meaning of those words, but we know what it actually means to do them by organizing ourselves to be able to be in that position. I think the journey with Arduino is really an example, an opportunity really for us to be able to start to embrace what it means for a developer to be able to get access to the type of technology that we build, the type of technology that students need, that hobbyists need, that obviously enterprise and prosumers need, and what are the building blocks that they're used to that we need to be able to embrace. And I think by organizing Arduino as an independent subsidiary within Qualcomm, that's the first step. that allows us to make sure that we don't disturb, we don't impair, we don't come in the way of the Arduino way of working. And then the second step is we essentially make sure that we learn what the Arduino community needs by seeing it through the lens that the Arduino team sees it as. And I think you saw one very good example, frankly, today with the Uno Q announcement.
Okay, so Massimo, tell us what this means for your community, because that's what Arduino is all about. It's all about your open source, your community, and independence of design. So for you, what does that mean for you moving forward with this partnership?
Well, I think one of the things I found very interesting when we started to talk about this partnership is that I really appreciated the fact that Qualcomm wanted us to continue to do what we do, so to work with multiple vendors, to be as open source as possible. And also looking at what we do, Arduino produces and releases a ton of open source software for free. And obviously to be able to do this effectively, it was becoming more and more important to have a partner with big shoulders and powerful technology, especially when you start to look at AI. I spent quite a bit of the last few years working on TinyML, Edge AI for Arduino, and obviously with the microcontrollers we got to the limit, so we needed someone with the right technology, and it's not that there are a lot of companies with this technology. So for me, it's important that we have a partner with super powerful technology that understands where we come from, what we believe in, and wants to keep everything we do as it is even more open effectively. Because I would say if we had stayed independent, to be honest, we would have probably have to be more careful with open sourcing some of the things that we do.
Yep.
But with a partner like Qualcomm, we can be even more free to open what we do. And I think that was super important, and I would like the community to understand that this is a positive thing that allows Arduino to continue to deliver on the promise, on the dream, in a way, for a long time.
Okay, good. So let's bring Fabio in here and talk a little bit more about the Uno Q itself and this phrase dual brain. Yeah. What that means, how that unleashes, it's not a phrase I'd heard before, how that unleashes your developer community, what that means to them, what that's going to enable them to do, I was going to say in the coming years, but quite frankly, we're probably only talking about the coming months with the speed of the way the market changes. So talk us through that.
Yeah, so you saw a lot of material about this product today, so I think now you have a clear understanding of what we are talking about. So this project started because what we see is an evolving world, a world where the problems become more complicated, and we have more tools to teach the machines how to interpret the world and help us in whatever we are doing. The world is made, of course, of higher level thinking, but it's also made of sensing, like a human body.
Yep.
So we have all sorts of sensors in our body, and Arduino is great for sensing the world with all the interfacing with all the different millions. So I think Stefano was mentioning thousands of library. So whatever sensors all the sensors company come up with, there is already an Arduino library that either the vendor make or the community makes. So this is a part that is important from Arduino, and also the actuation. You saw, self-balancing motorcycle. So James, I think, made some example that may seem simple, but besides 3D printing a ton of plastic with filament, that is quite an impressive, achievement. But all the device that he was showing are self-balancing stuff that require real-time control, etc. So this board is basically the combination of the two things. So it's the sensing and actuation capabilities and real-time interfacing with the physical world, and also a powerful ability to abstract this information, create models in a simple way, and combine all together. The point is, we are targeting with this product initially a large audience because we want, as we mentioned several times today, to unleash creativity from many people, and the adoption of the high-level Uno shaped connector gives compatibility with the huge ecosystem of existing shields, board, and whatever you may think. And they are also very practical, because with people aging, Massimo, like us, so being able to read the labels on the pinout of the board is something that is very, very important. But even if you have a nice eye, but also with the bottom part of the board where you have this high density connector, you can create crazy application, digital signal processing, video displays, cameras, multi-camera interfacing, etc. So for us, it's an enabler, and I think more importantly, is not something that we will do entirely at Arduino. So this is something where we expect all the community, all the distributors that make these nice videos, they have a lot of creative capabilities. So they will build an ecosystem of accessory around this product. So in a nutshell, I think the idea was to do a quantum leap compared where we are today that is still rooted in problems that our makers and surrounding us in our community are asking for. So they did this with 3, 4, 5 products stitched together with wires going from one place to the other. Think about a robot. Now, in a concise manner, you have a single device. Prior to that, you had to hook 3 or 4 things together. So that's the philosophy of the product, accessibility, and the software. You saw a lot of software. The software, again, is never enough.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work.
Unleashing creators. What a lovely phrase, turn of phrase that is, unleashing creators. So, Massimo, how is this going to unleash creators? Express what that means.
Well, see, I think one of the missions of Arduino at the beginning was really to enable anyone to innovate by taking complex technologies and make them simple to understand. And I think this is a formula that Arduino has applied to different technologies across its history. So right now, we saw a lot of cool examples of deploying machine learning models on the edge with a couple of clicks. I think that kind of user experience is what enables the most unexpected people to actually come up with innovation. And I think one of the nice things about Arduino is that I bumped into so many people who built innovation and they were completely unlikely. There's a famous story of me taking a taxi in Barcelona and the taxi driver was making a product with Arduino. He was making a startup with Arduino. So, if you think about it, that's to me the power of unleashing the creativity is really to take the people who you wouldn't imagine as an inventor, give them the tool, and the tools now are AI tools. And so here we are. We can do AI with a click. Imagine the kind of stuff people would be able to do.
Okay, so let's talk about those tools, because a lot of what came out of what you talked about in the last couple of hours has been talking about software and how software plays a role and how it's so important. So Arduino is famous for its IDE, and it's now launching your app lab. So, Fabio, either of you, tell us the real differentiator between what you've done in the past to unleash these creators, which is a phrase we're going to use a lot now, unleashing these creators with the difference between what App Lab can give and what they can expect with their creativity. How do you see that difference of experience? Just from your heart. We've seen you outline it on a presentation. This comes from the soul. Everything from Arduino comes from the soul. So tell us about how that soul is going to express itself with this new App Lab.
Well, I would say, I'll say 2 things. First of all, I think this importance of the user experience is something that not many companies in our space really care about. And I think that translates into this user experience where you plug a cable and in 5 minutes you're clicking button and things are happening. And I think that is a differentiating factor compared to a lot of other companies that produce hardware and they say good luck with the rest of the experience. Also, I will say something probably stupid, but I was not really part of the team that developed this, so I was kind of an external user of the first prototypes, and I have to tell you, I had fun using this thing, which, hear me out, a lot of not always you find a new hardware new software and you play with it and you have fun. So to me, obviously it's a stupid, simple way to look at it, but I had fun playing with this. And so when you have fun and then you have like crazy ideas and you make something interesting, so the fact that you have a user experience and a tool that makes it fun for you to invent something,
Yep.
I think it's a good differentiating factor, it's a good touch.
I don't think fun is not to be underestimated, and it's not stupid. So, we started this talk about trust and the relationship that you're going to have with Qualcomm. Very, very important. There'll be a lot of people on the live stream and people in the audience thinking, will this bring about change? What's going to change? Is my love affair with Arduino going to change? So, would somebody like to take the question? And I'm looking directly at you, Fabio. So maybe you should take this question. How you can reassure them that you can trust them, that this legacy is in safe hands and things are not going to change and you're going to continue to unleash their creativity.
Yeah, thank you for this simple question in this context, but...
Sorry.
Yeah, the point is, and all the people that know me, they know that I don't make promises that I'm not able to maintain. So I think in this case, we have a history and a legacy of being heterogeneous, but also being very selective in the selection of vendors that we use. And we didn't throw boards to the market just because of the sake of throwing boards, but we always selected the best technology that we can democratize, starting from sensors that maybe were used just for millions of units volume in cellular phones, and now became the LiDAR of our Albic robot, just to give you an idea. So we have a legacy of these kind of things that we believe are important. Now, the commitment in all the conversation we had with Nakul and the team has been to preserve the open source nature of Arduino. And you saw today in Marcello's presentation, the schematics and the Gerber files for technical people in the room will be available for people to download. So basically they can understand, they can do the X-ray of that board and go with a click of a button, create a PCB, that's just to replicate that product. So I think it's tangible things, so it's just not me talking about these things, but you saw there, upstream Debian distribution is not talking about, the fact that we are gonna be open. It's there, you can go there with the package manager, etc., and download pieces of this thing that is going to always be upstream. So these are tangible aspects that we want to, at least in agreement with the Qualcomm team, because a big help to get this thing done. So we have a fantastic team, but also the team on the other side had to do a tremendous job. So they're happening today, and they will keep happening. So you saw a board that basically two vendors, even one is Qualcomm, are sitting side by side, and there are other vendors that are in that board. And again, the point is creating relevant product for the market, because if we create just technology for the sake of technology, nobody will care about us. But if we take the best technology in the world, and personally, the reason why we started talking to Qualcomm is that we were thinking that we need a processor with 1.2 watts to run a workload without a fan on a robot. So basically, you saw it now on the board. So this is something that I believe is going to reassure the people more and more. So the way we will act in the future will be creating more trust and more reassurance for the people. I don't know, Nakul, if you want to add to that.
That's my job. That's my job. That's my job to put in. So it's your turn now. The thing is, the thing is, they and everybody on the live stream loves everybody on that side. Yeah. They really do. They adore them.
I'm getting the hang of
this. And then you turn up. Yeah? And you've been doing this very fun thing with Edge AI. You've been rummaging around the market, finding very interesting companies like Foundries.io and Edge Impulse, and Qualcomm are being disruptive. They're wanting to share some of this love. So reassure them that you are going to be loved in their future.
I think the first proof point was to actually show you the Arduino Uno Q, right? Because I can talk about the Arduino Uno Q, but you actually saw it live, you saw it, you saw developers, you saw Arduino community developers develop on it. The Edge Impulse team developed on it. The Qualcomm team developed on it. So I almost would reverse it and say, we have become an Arduino developer. And that was not rehearsed.
Yeah. Are you feeling the love?
I am, thank you.
Good, good. Okay, I've shut this now. I've finished with questions. I think the most important thing out of this little final last bit was that the reassurance about trust, about authenticity, and the future. Nobody can even see into tomorrow, let alone the next month, the next quarter. Nobody knows how this lot are going to unleash their creativity, but what they do need to know is that they're in safe hands, and the thing that they've grown up to love and adore and create together is also in safe hands.
Absolutely.
So, thank you very much for this little chat.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy.
So guys, maybe